Awesome. And I'm actually now just starting the recording, so we're going to just jump into it now. Okay. So here we go. We're talking about landing pages, and I have a little presentation here that I'm going to pop up for everybody. And what we're going to do is just going to go through the slides, okay? And then after each slide, after each point, we're going to then jump over to an actual series of landing pages, and let's kind of investigate those and see how people are applying them.
Yep.
Okay, cool. David actually says he has a recommendation. I've been using this to help learn sales copy, copyhour.com. Just something that he's using, not promoting for them, and which we'll have to check out, copyhour.com. Okay, if you want to, Doc, bring that up, and if it looks good, we'll check it out too.
I'll do that while you're doing this.
Awesome. So what we're talking about is landing page optimization. Okay, and in all honesty, I could not put everything that I wanted to say within this presentation. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stretch this out over a series. I mean, honestly, I could probably easily do 3 series on this if you're cool with it, Joe. Okay,
let's do it, man. I think it's there's no way to talk about landing pages without coming full at conversion, and since you're coming at conversion and conversion is so immense, I think it's worthy of as much time as you can spend on it.
Yeah, it is.
If we were just talking about how to lay one out, you could probably do that in the space of, 30 or 45 minutes with a couple of different themes, and you'd have the technical part put down. But the most important part of landing pages is this art/science that we were talking about a couple of minutes ago, and I think that deserves as much time as you want to spend.
Yeah, and and everybody here, you guys are gonna get a lot. I hope you get a lot out of this, okay? And give me your feedback as we go. So the purpose of this training is that your landing pages act as a doorway for your traffic to get them to the other side, which is to take action. And the higher your conversion rate, the more money you're gonna get, the more actions you're gonna get. Okay, so the more conversions you're going to get, the more calls, more leads you're going to get, or your client's going to get. Okay, or it might be sales, of course, if you're doing affiliate product or your own product. And really, that's what it all comes down to. And what you're going to learn here is about half of my best practices. Okay, I got about 14 or 15 of these. Okay, so these were the top of the list here. And these subject points are as follows. Okay, and these are things that basically you can take any landing page that you have right now, and you can say, am I doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and go right down the list. And anywhere that you feel that you're missing something, right, that you're missing something that's not quite there, or you need to kind of kick it up a notch, or it's maybe too ambiguous, this checklist will allow you to know, if I really potentially if I improve my image and I make it more powerful, more relevant, then that's going to help improve my conversion rate. Now, what we don't talk about in here, which is ultimately the most important thing, is actually split testing your landing page. Okay? We will cover that in a further episode, but right now we're mainly hitting on best practices. Okay? So first is a consistent call to action between your ad that brings your traffic in and the actual landing page. 2, powerful images. Images that evoke emotions and that illustrate what you want to communicate. 3, focus on these 3 things inside your text: needs, wants, and problems. 4, sound friendly, right? Communicate as if you're writing a letter to your best friend. 5, KISS. Keep it simple. You want to use bullet points and easy to read short words, essentially to communicate what you have to say. 6, offer something good, something that is a powerful incentive. And 7, focus on benefits. Okay? So there's a lot, but we're going to go through each one of these one at a time. Now, as you guys have questions, feel free to just pop them in the chat room. I actually got it. I got it up on my screen, and Joe sees it as well. Okay. So let's talk about a consistent ad call to action. Now, if you're running AdWords, really this should be second nature to you by now, okay? And I'm sure it is. But if you're running an ad that says, click here to download our free report on conversion optimization, okay, and someone clicks that, and they're taken to a website that says, get our 7-step e-course on making your landing pages better, while essentially to you those are the same things, to the person who clicked the initial ad, it is two different things and can possibly cause confusion, okay? But that's to say that if you, on your ad, say apples, your landing page should say apples. It shouldn't say oranges and shouldn't say fruit. It should say apples. Apples to apples, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. Let's go ahead and jump over to, I was looking at garage door repair. Okay, and let's see something that's a nice, powerful, none of these have good call to actions. I was really surprised. But the exterminators have good call to actions. There was, we had some that, let's see here. Okay, so pest control experts, 100% money back guarantee. Now when someone sees that, of course they have a well-optimized ad, that's for sure. But when someone clicks it, the reason why that ad right there is showing over all the other ones that they have inside their ad group is because people are responding to that call to action, the 100% guaranteed service. So now that they're looking at this page, the best thing that they want to do is have their call to action for 100% guaranteed up at the top, okay? Which they have here in a bullet point, okay? Though they even may want to actually make it a larger headline, right? Because that's the large headline of the ad. It should be the same large headline on their landing page, okay? But not everybody really runs such a granular campaign. I definitely like to. What I do is I set up a large general campaign, and then what I do is I break down different keywords into their own ad group, okay? And then I take each of those keywords, and as I test different ads, I'll actually create different landing pages that that are in line with the different call to actions in those ads. Okay, it does take time, but essentially, once you have your campaign running, it's just a process of breaking it down into smaller and smaller chunks and finding what creates the highest conversion rate. Okay, so there we go. So they're a little bit off, but you know what? They got the bullet points, and we'll get to that in another slide. Let's just go ahead and jump to the next one here. Okay, so we got consistent ad call to action. Pretty simple. Your ad says, download our free report. The first thing that they should see on the landing page to confirm is download our free report. Okay, so use powerful images. Now, images are very important because, just as you know, they illustrate and they communicate feelings, okay, and they illustrate stories. So what we have up here, okay, this is an actual landing page off of one of my websites. The main headline that I wanted to choose here, and generally what I do is when looking for a picture, is find something that's relevant to what the business is or what's being offered, and I prefer to use people who are smiling at the camera. Okay? People who are smiling at the camera. Now that's not always easy to find, okay? But this guy right here, I will use in probably every single service landing page that we ever do. Because it is such a great, and it's a stock photo. It's such a great serviceman, right? Because he's, he's not clean cut, but he looks friendly, he's smiling, he looks authentic, he's well dressed, he's clean. And you probably can't tell, but I took the logo and I just imposed it onto the guy's shirt. So I can replace that with any type of logo, any business logo, okay? But what this picture communicates is friendly, professional, okay, honest, and having a person there always, which is always a good idea because it allows them to see who they're working with, even though of course this is not the owner of the business, right? And further down, we got a couple more pictures. For your business has a picture of a business. For your home has a family. And About Us has a picture of a team of exterminators. So all of these images are right in line and help communicate and help the flow of the site. Okay? Now let's go ahead and look at some other ones. This is another client site, though I just did, I would say 50% of the work on this. But again, it had the guy right there, very friendly looking, very professional looking at the camera. Okay? And that's important. Okay? Now let's go ahead and look at some of these other guys. Now this right here, I wanted to pull up Amazon because, you know, Amazon, huge retailer, they have lots of money to put into optimizing their sales pages. And, you know, they have their image right here, a couple different images. And as we scroll down, yeah, all these images, they reflect what the person is doing with it, what the product is and what they're going to be doing with it. Okay? Which I would expect actually to see more like people and users in here, like listening to music or, you know, whatever, brewing their coffee with it. I don't know. Okay, right? You got one of those, don't you, Joe?
I've got one, and you do not brew coffee with it.
Well, I can't believe that. I would expect to walk in and say,
I know they're working. They're working on it. It'll do more sooner rather than later. But
yeah, I would say, Echo, I want a cappuccino, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we got a same thing. Lady in front of her garage. Different garage pictures. Not bad here. Serviceman. Okay. And these are right in line with exactly what the people expect to see and are looking forward to. Now, this landing page I love. Okay. I love because it has this midget guy on here. Which, have you seen this before, Joe? Have you seen this guy?
No, I have to say this is a new one for me, but thank you.
He is, this guy, and I've actually seen him in commercials, is the actual spokesperson for this company. Him and his brother, his twin brother, who's also a midget, right? Or a small man. I don't know what the politically correct term is. But,
I'm pretty sure it's not midget.
It's not midget? I'm sorry, everybody.
Sure, yeah.
But I love this picture because it grabs your attention, and I think it kind of makes you laugh, right? And you got these guys with a dog, so they're like, hey, we're friendly, you know? And
you know, I think it would be even better if the insect moved over and was on his back or something, so it looked like they were at war.
Exactly. Yeah, to really freak him out. But,
yeah. Now that would be memorable.
Yeah, we got the big insect, the home, and so it basically
taking down the small guy.
Oh, and like eating his face or something.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, just like knocking him to the ground. Then you've got a crisis, and you want to create that crisis feeling within your landing page, so people are compelled to click.
That's true. I would definitely be freaked out of ants eating my midgets and dogs, you know?
Yep.
So we got that. I love this because it has that guy there.
Midget.
You're the one talking about the midget being eaten. I mean, come on.
I said small guy. I really think we need to revert to political correctness.
I'm sorry. Listen, I honestly didn't know that it wasn't politically correct. Okay. So small people, little man.
Right.
Okay, so we got a little guy. We got Terminex. No image at all, but their text is so plain and simple, and their call to action is so direct, which we'll get to in a little bit. Now this, and their ad, just to say from the previous slide, this was their main call to action on the ad was save $50, right? Boom. And there it is right in front of you. You can't miss it. This one here, Precision, this is just a couple other businesses, okay, that I went ahead and pulled up.
Hey, Justin.
Sure.
Can you go back to the Terminix one for just a moment?
Terminix, yeah.
I think the idea, I think just asking for a zip code is genius. You could read Start My Free Quote and anticipate that you were going to have to provide more detailed information, but I think just putting in something that 25,000 people share with you is just disarming enough to get somebody to take that next step. You know what I mean? Because you're not putting in your name, you're not putting in your email address, you're not, obviously with a zip code, you're not putting up anything that means somebody's going to besiege you with telephone calls within the next 5 minutes. But I guess when you hit Start My Free Quote, it's going to lead to that. But I've always heard that and I know you'll probably deal with this down the road, I've always heard that micro commitments are really the key to push somebody through a funnel, and that at the top of the funnel, the commitment should be as small as possible, and that you gradually, as they make these micro commitments, they become more emboldened to act on more pieces or the larger pieces of your funnel. So I just think that's a genius idea.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very, very smart, and if you see a lot of those like CPA offers, a lot of them start this way as well.
It's a good idea. It's really smart.
So let's go ahead and check that out. Put in the zip code, and let's see where step 2 takes us. And there you go. Just almost done, and now it's requesting all the information, and which is actually a lot of information. They want the whole address and everything right here. So yeah, that's quite true.
But you're already invested. You're already invested by clicking that first button. I guess I'm sure that the theory for people that know how copy and conversion works, it's their full business, would say that micro commitment probably increases the odds that somebody will fill out this specific information by a good chunk.
Yeah, and you know what? You're absolutely right about that. And you see that a lot. 2-step opt-ins.
Yeah.
Where it just has the button for download, and then after they click, it's got the pop-up for the email and name. So this is, and you know what? Honestly, I haven't even put that much thought into using a 2-step, but I'm going to write that down to actually start split testing that.
Well, and there's another form of 2-step, which is when somebody has to confirm their opt-in by returning the email that comes from the whichever autoresponder company you're using. I don't want to confuse the two, because at some point we need to talk about that. I've got a lot of experience with it from my list building days. I think you understand where I'm coming from with that.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Double opt-in.
That's it. Yeah, double opt-in, which is, that could be like a whole session in itself, because there are situations where it's almost imperative that you use double opt-in, and then situations where it makes absolutely no sense, and I think people should understand that better too.
Yeah, and that's a great subject, which, Joe, you can run with, because to tell you the truth, I do very little email, email like lead generation where we're just collecting emails.
Yeah.
It's almost all just direct leads. Here we got a question. Doug says, what do you use to collect customer info, contact form 7 in WordPress? Actually, that is exactly what I use for just direct contact forms. What do you like to use, Doc?
Well, I can't think of anything better than contact form 7 or whatever the theme has built in for a contact form, as long as it's attractive and friendly. Those are great. I have to say though that 70 to 80% of the time, I prefer to build a relationship through an autoresponder. So I don't use MailChimp, but we use MailChimp, for example, at SemEasy. I use GetResponse, and I have in the past used Aweber. Mm-hmm. And what I like about them is that if you've got, and we talked about this with Craig, the motorhome guy, earlier this week, if you are selling anything where there's a cycle, let's say it's a high-ticket item, you often have to warm the person up maybe even before you get their their contact information.
Yeah.
But early on, you can get their email address or something like that, and you could, with autoresponders, you can queue up a series of emails that go out to these folks on a schedule that you determine, and that can be informational emails that slowly soften their exterior resistance to the point where you can make some, like tangible contact with them by phone or something like that. So from an autoresponder standpoint, if you're not just generating leads from another company, but you're trying to get warm leads, or you're working for a client, for example, who wants to maximize their close rate, an autoresponder it's a little bit, there's a little bit of an expense for it, but usually the client will pay. You could pay $20 or $30 a month depending on the autoresponder, but it can really be an awesome way to close deals.
Absolutely. Yeah, and depending on your product. I mean, Craig's selling $150,000 motorhomes.
Yes,
so
exactly.
That's autoresponder is perfect thing.
Yeah, for an $89 bug cleaning, or a $69 take the virus off of my computer kind of thing, it would be silly. But for some of these larger items, it's really a huge help.
Which is true. And just one last thing is this contact request form here. This is actually built into call tracking metrics. And when someone fills this out with their name, phone number, and email, and if I could, and I have to actually check the settings, I would take email off, where they just put in their name and their phone number. This will actually auto dial the client and then automatically connect the visitor via phone. So it happens like almost instantaneously that it connects as soon as they fill out this form. Really good for lead gen.
Yep.
Okay, so let's keep breezing through. I won't take as much time on each one of these slides because we got a bunch to go through. Okay, so powerful images. So now focus on the needs, wants, and problems. Basically, what you want to do is think about what are their needs, okay? What are their logical needs, okay? Now, logical needs are going to fit into the numbers, like price, okay? They need a good price, okay? They need, it's an emergency, so they need someone to come quick, okay? Then you have wants. Now, wants are emotionally driven, okay? So those are the things like that speak to the ego. So they want to feel good. They want to look good. They want to have a nice yard, okay, for the neighbors. Okay, those are those emotions. So you got needs, which are logical, wants, which are emotional, and then you have problems. Now, problems are basically what are the possible objections that they might have, okay, that you want to address before they even come up. Because keep in mind, your landing page is your salesman. So what he needs to do is any good salesman will address, address those problems or those, what's that word I just used? Address the, the things that they might, that stand in the way of the sale. They want to address them before they even come up.
Yeah.
So we have, if I look at this, I guess the main thing is on these bullet points, your needs come first, okay? That right there is a want, okay? So they say, okay, my needs, what I want for my house comes first. So that's more of that emotional. Get rid of the cockroaches, fleas, bugs, okay? Environmentally friendly and responsible. That's more of the logical side. Okay, no smelly sprays. Well, that's kind of in the emotional side or the wants, and always polite and on time. Those right there are, well, polite. That's a mix, but you're hitting on both the logical and the emotional at the same time. You got any input on that, Doc?
Nope, I think you're right on it.
Yeah.
I will say this. And I don't want to lengthen this out because we've got so much to talk about over the next few weeks. But words are great. Video is almost irresistible.
Yeah, quite true.
You feel comfortable in front of a camera, or if you want to hire a fire gig or someone else to take the role in the camera and you use copy, it's an awesome way to break down some of these perceived obstacles that people might have and to build some comfort that when they actually do provide their phone number and allow you to make contact, that that the experience should be okay.
Yeah, and right on about that. And the comfort, I think, is a huge point. This right here, which I'll pause, when you first load up this Echo sales page on Amazon, the first thing that pops up is a video, which I haven't watched, but exactly like what you're saying right there.
Yep.
Okay, so needs, wants, and then address problems. Now, the next thing is to sound friendly. Now, simply put, you want to just sound like you're speaking to your best friend. You don't need to sound technical or to sound very, what's the word is?
Geeky? Or are you talking about high sales pressure? I mean, where are you going?
Yeah, sound friendly or sound overly technical. You want to speak the person's language, right? And you want to talk to the person as if, in your sales copy, as if they were just sitting right across from you and you're having a friendly conversation. And that's really simple to do, okay? You want to avoid jargon. And that was the word that I was hitting on, is you want to avoid jargon. Things that are like, someone has to stop and think about, what does he mean by the whatever type of pest control service, And industry language, yeah, avoid industry language. Talk to them just as if they're a normal person right in front of you.
Well, and I would also say, talk about it in terms of the problems that you'll solve for them, not the technical specs or even really the features in your product, but go at it from totally the customer's perspective. What does this solve? So let's take our motorhome example. You don't have to talk about the per square inch pressure that the bathroom faucet pumps out.
Right.
And it's, they don't care. They want to know, what they can accomplish with this motorhome. Is it the freedom of being on the open road? Is it a comfortable night's sleep? Is it an easy walk to the barbecue grill on the back? We have a tendency, and I'm guilty of this. I know that SEOs are often guilty of this. We try to explain what we're going to do as opposed to what it's going to do for the customer. And I think landing pages and conversion is a perfect example of that trap. If we need to avoid that trap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep the technical jargon out, talk about what their benefits are, and sound friendly, as if you're writing a letter to a friend and you're describing your business or describing what they're going to get from your business.
Yeah.
And that really goes right into the next slide, which is keep it simple, stupid. Okay? Avoid, just like we're saying, same thing, avoid the industry jargon. Keep it so that anybody can read it and just right off the bat understand it. Now in this, keep it simple. Bullet points are your best friend. Okay? Really easy, direct, the bullet points that they can just go down and read and be like, I get it, I get it, I get it. Okay? And I think, at least whenever I write and my wife writes, what I shoot for is by the time they scan and they just skim over the bullet points, the thought in their mind is, this is exactly what I want. Boom. That's what I want in their head. This is exactly what I want. And exactly. The wants, the needs, and to address their problems. In the bullet points. Here we go. This guy, precision. Now this page, there's a lot going on here. And honestly, I would totally, which is great. They present a lot of information, but it's just like too much, right? But right off the bat, they hit their benefits right there. 24-hour service, major credit cards accepted, all that right in front of them. Bullet points again, get free quotes. And this, I mean, the Terminix, come on, save $50 on a Terminix pest control plan. Get your free evaluation now. I mean, that's it, And when you got Terminix is a huge company, and they run ads every day on major television stations. When you're at that level, you don't need to go through you don't need to jump through the hoops of building trust, building building authority, creating rapport. Okay? They're like, well, it's it's effing Terminix, It's Terminix. I mean, I want bugs. It's Terminix. There it is. Save $50. Sounds good to me. Next step, right? And they just make it ridiculously easy to take the next step. That's all they need to do. Sears, Amazon, bullet points right off the top. That's the first thing that they have. So it's really easy to communicate the benefits that people can get from it. All right.
Doug.
What'd he say? What we got? Did Frank show up on this call?
He said, did Frank show up on this call? He dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah, right. No, I don't know. I'm just in the mode today. So offer something good, okay? Now this is an incentive. Now if we look at the Terminix again, right there, save $50. I mean, that's a $50 bill, okay? And that's something good. That's a powerful incentive right there. These guys, $50 off, $100 off. Okay, they got their offers and their coupons right on the side. And if I was them, if I had this, I would have some type of offer code, call with this offer code, or print this coupon. Okay, something that, says, because I look at this $50 off, how would I use this? Okay, to say, here's an offer code, call with this offer code. So they think, okay, $50 off, I want to take advantage of that. The next step is to call with the offer code. These guys, usually Amazon, they say, you save, 29%, $15 by buying this book through us, right? Finally, now these guys, okay, so say you're working with a client and they're like, I just don't offer any coupons, which is rare, but you run into these guys, okay? And this is an example. This is actually a pay-per-lead client. And of course, being pay-per-lead, he says, well, if I'm going to be paying you per lead, I want to maximize the money that I get from it, so I don't want to offer any coupons for your marketing. Well, I say, okay, well, that's fine, but keep it open in the future, and we should test it. Okay? So what do you lead with as your offer, okay, or your incentive? You lead with benefits, okay? Free, fast inspection, and 100% pest-free guarantee. Those are our incentives for coming with us, okay? And there's more to this site, this actual site that we can hit on later, including like the social, not social signals. What's the word? Social proof. Thank you.
Social proof.
I'm just losing all my words today. The social proof.
You got the one that I guess matters the most.
Yeah, there you go. And building the trust and the satisfaction. So offer something good. Give them something that will compel them to take action. And if I could, I would definitely have coupons on the site or some type of offer like this. Okay, call with offer code WEB30. Okay, or fill out this form to get your coupon right away. Okay, and I think, let's see here, we might have just one or two. So focus on the benefits. And you were talking about this, Doc. Focus on the benefits that they get by taking the action. Instead of talking about the square pressure of the faucet that's within the bathroom and whatever, talk about the comfort that they receive as they're riding around and cruising through, across the open land with their new Winnebago. Something that's benefit driven. If it is a faucet, say you were selling a faucet, um, you're still not going to talk about. You might mention the square foot pound of pressure that comes out, but what you'll really talk about is how clean the hands will get, how beautiful it'll look in the bathroom, or how, depending on the type of market that you're selling in the faucet, you might talk about, how powerful it is, how it'll blast off the dirt and grime off your hands or grease off the dishes. But that's what's going to get people to take action instead of saying, or whatever, the technical specs of it. And really,
I think it's Dan Kennedy, if I remember right, is the guy who coined the term, but it may have been someone else. I think essentially what he said was that people buy solutions. They don't buy feature sets. So if you're spending time going down your feature set as opposed to addressing the solutions that you have for the person, you're kind of wasting your time. You're not maximizing the amount of time that someone's willing to give you their attention, which on the web, pretty quick. I know people hop off of web pages in 10, 15, 20 minutes like nobody's business if they don't see right away how it will solve a problem.
Yeah, 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Or less, yeah. And that's true. I think my wife, what was that percentage? You said 7 times the number of people read the headline than read any body copy. Well, there you go. 7 times the number of people who look at the body copy, the actual bullet points or the specifics of what you're offering. 7 times that number just hit the headline and make a decision based on that right there. Yeah, they're just going to read your headline and they're either going to take action. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. They're going to read the headline and then decide if they're going to read the rest or they're going to bounce right out. That's a pretty significant number, so you want to have that benefit up front, right in front of them. And I think that is the last of the our 7 bullet points for this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it to questions. I saw that, let's see, we say Sam was asking about that call tracking form. Now there's a lot of companies out there that offer this, but what I like to use, and I've used for a couple years now, is call tracking metrics. And I originally got on with these guys because they were one of the only companies a couple of years ago that actually had integration with Google Analytics, which allowed us to integrate with AdWords and be able to track our conversion tracking with phone calls. Okay, and it actually pulled up my dashboard here, but it's just a great service. Okay, really nice service, and they have help on chat. So if anybody have a problem or a question, because their system can be a little intricate, I just jump on there and ask. So it's a very good service. But I believe also ACT does it as well. ACT.
Yep.
So what do we got for questions? Go ahead and throw them up here, guys. You're welcome, Sam. Well, while you guys are typing your questions, I'll say a couple other things that we're going to go into we have another 7 points or so that goes into social proof, and other things, additional things, such as negating the risk with guarantees. So we'll go into those in maybe the next one, as well as to highlight a couple different landing page creation tools that I've been able to use. Now, as I was going through and starting to decide on how I wanted to build these pages, I actually have used Instapages. I've used, what are a couple of those really popular ones? We got Instabuilder. Okay, I started using Instapages, which is good, though all these ones that are hosted on their own platform and you build on their platform and then you like port it over into your WordPress. You know, I just can't stand that they're monthly fees, and oftentimes they're limited on how you can actually design the site or the landing page. They have limitations on how many visitors you get, though they do make it up for with simplicity and features. What this was built right here is with what's called Visual Composer. Okay, if you've used Visual Composer, go ahead and give a V in the chat box. I know a couple of you guys have used Visual Composer. That's right, I know Doug has. Visual Composer is a very low-cost plugin that makes for drag and drop design and building within your own WordPress theme. In addition, InstaBuilder I just got and it looks to be very, very promising as well.
By the way, Justin, I don't know if you know this, but I discovered it because I bought my own copy of Visual Composer about 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They've now implemented a protection scheme which actually makes it quite expensive. It runs like in the $30-some range, I think, 35, 36, something like that, but now it's limited unless you buy, a dramatically upgraded version to one site.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's activation protected for all the latest versions. So it's no longer inexpensive, which is going to make things like InstaBuilder, far more attractive. It's actually, they're shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion, but, I'm not sure what their strategy was.
Yeah, well, the strategy is to get more sales,
Yeah, but that the problem is that sales is a function both of what you charge and how many you sell, and I imagine that how many they sell is going to be really impacted by that change in philosophy. If I had known it, I certainly wouldn't have bought it.
Yeah, and that's crappy news because what we're doing is rolling out with a lot of these sales pages and sales sites using Visual Composer as a standard template, as a standard template implementation.
Yep. So I think we're back to things like InstaBuilder and trying to figure out how we can do similar amounts of work with an unlimited license to InstaBuilder as opposed to something like Visual Composer. And I've used both. I don't have version 2 of InstaBuilder, as you know, but it's probably not as full-featured as Visual Composer is in terms of its broad range of being able to handle a lot of different types of web pages. But from a landing page standpoint, I think it's probably got everything you need and then some.
Yeah. Well, I think, honestly, when you look at it, it's the different types of landing pages just comes down to how you put it together, Yep. Short form, long form, phone call lead gen, opt-in lead gen.
You're right. The number of actual features you need for a landing page is quite small.
Yeah.
You need an opt-in feature, or a form submission, obviously, but so many things have that these days. And the rest of it is just the flexibility to position the media and the text wherever you want it on the page. But everything else, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point. It's about how flexible it is, but at the same time, a lot of us were not designers, so you give too much room, and we just don't know where to go,
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad you told me that. I'm gonna have to check that out. I just got InstaBuilder, and just from the sales page, it looks very flexible, very good. And what we're doing, and this is honestly what we're doing moving forward, is we are using templates where we're basically creating our own templates, and then we just switch out the text, and that's it.
You got a question here, Justin, that's right up your alley from Sam.
Let's hear. What types of landing pages work best for lead capture? I'm currently trying to restyle Surfshaker sites so each post is also a landing page. Ah, yes, I've had some experience with that. Able to sell to clients, phone number, space, etc. Gotcha. You bring up an awesome subject, Sam, and what I did was as an experiment, and gosh, what was the website? I go do so many freaking websites. It's hard to say. I think it's the Garage Door Naples site that I had up here a couple weeks ago. Is I took Visual Composer, okay, and Visual Composer, how it actually stores the page, the visual aspects of the page is in shortcode. So if you look at the Visual Composer within the regular text editor, it just looks like a bunch of shortcode. Okay? Oh, hold on, one of these passwords. Which I'll show you what it looks like. No, it wasn't that one. Gosh, I hope it's the last one. So what happens is, so what you could do is that allows you to take the shortcode and pop it into a SERP shaker page and actually mass produce individual landing pages, okay? Which I believe this is the one, which will look something like this. If I can load it up here, Sam. Okay. Yeah, this site's actually a little slow because it's hosted on HostGator, which is okay for basic websites, but whenever you use some really cool things like SERP Shaker, it's just not meant for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you see, the title, or we got for the slug, is going to be city and keyword, which will be Naples garage door repair, garage door maintenance, all the way down the list. Okay, and after you design in the back-end editor, this is what you actually see. Okay, whenever you go back to the front or the normal editor or the basic editor, it's all shortcode. Okay, so what I did was I designed with Visual Editor, and then let's see if I can bring it up so you can see what it looks like more or less. Design with Visual Editor, and then use the shortcodes within the actual text. And basically, long story short, it turned out it worked. Okay, it worked well. It was slow though to build, and it may have been slow because of it was probably slow because of the server. Okay, but also could have been a mix of it was right in the middle of the WordPress upgrade to 4.2. So a lot of plugins broke, and oh man, it was a big headache. So it ended up just being a big hassle. But what I'll show you here is the real ticket. Is we took text, we took all of our spun text, and basically we hid it in a toggle. Okay, and we built it out. Sam asked, or Greg asked, are they pages or posts? We built them out as post. Okay. And we only did 400 because it's on such a small server. But if we look at it, okay, we have the city and keyword here, which will pop up auto-generate off our keyword list. The phone number here, well, this is designed just to be used for one business. So if you're using with multiple businesses, you would simply make it so that each page has its own phone number and you'll be able to change it, okay? Or maybe do a find and replace, okay, using shortcodes or something. But we got it, and just in the header, we got a couple shortcodes switched out, okay? But here's where the big ticket is under here. Where is it? No, wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's right. It's up at the top. It's been a while. Okay, this is where all my spun text is. It's a toggle that does not look like a toggle. Okay, and so whenever it's output, it will have all unique content in this space. But most people are not going to see it. They're only going to see the landing page. Okay. And if you look at the landing page, we did my best to go through and keep keep those main points, keep it simple, focus on the needs, the wants, and the problems. Okay. and keep it personal. Here's the owner, awesome guy. And so there's our landing page, and it worked out pretty well. Okay, so you see, this is the end result. Garage door repair in Chokoloskee, Florida. Text is customized, but it looks good. It looks just basic, normal. You got your brands, but then all the unique content is hidden here, including interlinking. And the great thing is that it is picked up by Google. Okay, we got all the videos, and these things, while normally would be distraction, okay, is all just hidden away so people are not distracted by all the text on the site. See, we got our schema. Everything's all just stashed away right under this toggle. It's actually a really good thing. I got to come back to it. There was a lot of problems during the build out time, but I think this is a really good way to do it. But in addition, you can also use double agent as an overlay to take your landing page and just pop it on top of your spun content. Okay, so let's see here. You're welcome. And
there's another question here.
Yeah.
2 questions.
There's okay, so let's hear. Sam says, "Awesome, thanks. I'm trying. Just landed as had a copy, but just VC more flexible. This is excellent. Does Visual Composer allow you to toggle off?" Yeah, it does. Yeah, allow you to toggle off. That's exactly what we have there. It's basically the toggle set to off. And yeah, and Sam, if you want, okay, I'll type it into the inbox and we'll wrap it up here. You can email me at justin@semeasy.com, okay? But listen, everybody feel free to shoot over your questions. We'll address them in the next webinar as we'll continue talking about best practices for building your landing pages. All right, anything else, guys?
You see the one from Tim there? I mean, I think I can answer it, but
yeah, go ahead.
He's asked, what's the advantage of using Visual Composer and SS instead of using SERP Shaker only and then using DA to overlay the landing page? Tim, I'll give you my 2 cents, and Justin can weigh in afterwards if he wants. I would prefer to use Visual Composer or something that creates the landing page right on the SERP Shaker post for the very simple reason that then you've got a geo-targeted landing page as opposed to sending, let's say, for example, you do 30,000 Shaker posts to blanket the United States, and then you use DA or some other overlay, some other program to iframe up a generic landing page. Well, you're going to lose all the all the geolocational stuff that I think speaks to the person who might be on the page and might want to have that local feel. Certain products really do feel better purchased, from providers that at least seem local. So that would be my 2 cents.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a double-edged sword, okay? Because there's an advantage and a disadvantage from each one of these. The advantage the advantage is exactly as the doc just said, is that your text is going to be more relevant because you simply won't have the location and that exact keyword on the landing page that they see if it's just double agent over, okay? But the disadvantage, though, is when you have 1,000 pages, okay, or more, 50,000 or however many pages that are each individually created, it is much more difficult to split test because you have dispersed your traffic across all these pages. If you have all your traffic going into one central page, it gives you the advantage of being able to split test that to a higher degree.
Yeah.
Is there any other plugin to do hidden accordion like that? I've tried it with Shortcoats Ultimate, but it shows a plus sign. Yeah, good question, Greg. Actually, Jason, a SEMeasy member, has a plugin that he created. and I actually use it now for all of our AdSense sites. And this plugin basically does exactly that. It has stealth mode where you just don't see the spun text, and nor do you see any type of text or picture, and it just works beautifully.
Yeah, it works in a little micro pixel, so you could technically, if you knew it was there, you could hover over the white or blank space and click the left mouse button one time, and all that stuff would be visible. But you have to really be purposeful to find it. But the great news is that it's just hidden behind a couple of simple shortcodes, and so it's completely indexable by Google. It's an inexpensive plugin, and Jason at one point did have it for sale on the Se3Me forum. So if you look it up there, look for Jason on the Se3Me forum, or hit me up, for example, at Doc the Coach on Skype, and I can put you in touch with him, or at least I can find a link to his sales page. I want to say I paid like $23 for it or something like that, but I can't remember exactly. But it's a phenomenal plugin. Both Justin and I think, use it all the time now.
Oh yeah, and it's super lightweight, and which I love. It's well worth the couple bucks, because yeah, exactly right. You can actually just design a regular landing page and then have all the text just hidden. And what I love is with the AdSense sites. With the AdSense sites, I put like 2 paragraphs of well-written static content up on top, and then I have all of the spun text and everything that's, you know, more or less jibber jabber all hidden, so just no one sees it. All they see is these 2 paragraphs of text, which read well and don't read like gibberish.
Yeah, and if you use, for example, Spin Rewriter is excellent for this. If you spin with something like Spin Rewriter and protect the words that are going to create, that are the prime keywords, prime seed keywords, and anything that might help it lead to a long tail, then you can put 2 or 3 or even 4,000 words of relevant jibber jabber that's been spun between the shortcodes of this plugin, and you're going to bang out probably, a dozen or a couple of dozen really nice long tails in that text that are going to get indexed and help you rank. It'll certainly help you show up in the organic stuff, and it's a huge help. And then, like Justin just said, put a couple of really nice paragraphs that are visible. A couple of images, whatever just make it look really, really nice, and nobody's the wiser. Yeah,
exactly right. And it looks, and it's which is right on, which is exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
Which, what we're going to have to do in a couple weeks, a AdSense build out webinar, Joe.
Sure. Yeah, I love that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Doug says, split test. Can you not just put out 2 different posts to all locations to test? Well, you could, but the logistics of putting the split test code and setting it up for each post, it's just not realistic when you're even working with 100 pages, let alone thousands upon thousands of pages on one site. If you're spinning it with Surfshaker and putting it out. And then even afterwards, even after you want to split test again, you'd have to build out a whole nother series of pages, sweetie. So it really, what the great thing about the double agent is that you can just take all that traffic, funnel it into one page. Really nice. Okay, so any other questions, guys? We're at 3:06. I think that wraps it up.
Not too bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, email. I'm sorry, now I'm eating. Snack time.
I was going to say, what in the world are you eating, man? Golly day.
You're lucky I don't got the video on.
Oh, my God. All right, guys. It's been great.
Yep. See you next week, and feel free to hit us up.
Yep, part 2 comes next week, guys. Take care. Peace.
Peace.